Psalms chapter 10. Why do you stand afar off, O Lord? Why do you hide in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride persecutes the poor. Let them be caught in the plots which they have devised. For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire. He blesses the greedy and renounces the Lord. The wicked in his proud countenance does not seek God. God is in none of his thoughts. His ways are always prospering. Your judgments are far above, out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he sneers at them. He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved. I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and oppression. Under his tongue is trouble and iniquity. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places he murders the innocent. His eyes are secretly fixed on the helpless. He lies in wait secretly, as a lion in his den. He lies in wait to catch the poor. He catches the poor when he draws him into his net. So he crouches, he lies low, that the helpless may fall by his strength. He has said in his heart, God has forgotten. He hides his face, he will never see. Arise, O Lord. O God, lift up your hand. Do not forget the humble. Why do the wicked renounce God? He has said in his heart, you will not require an account. But you have seen, for you observe trouble and grief, to repay it by your hand. The helpless commits himself to you. You are the helper of the fatherless. Break the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness until you find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations have perished out of his land. Lord, you have heard the desire of the humble. You will prepare their heart. You will cause your ear to hear, to do justice to the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may oppress no more. Do you know or remember the poem Footprints in the Sand? It is about a man who had a dream one night that he was walking on the beach. Images of his life flashed across the sky, and for each scene he noticed that there were two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to him and the other to the Lord. But he also noticed that at times there were only one set of footprints in the sand, and these so happened to be the times when he was at his lowest. Perturbed, he asked God about this. Why do you seem to abandon me in my lowest times? But then God assured him those single footprints belong to him, God himself, because during this man's hardest and lowest times, it was then that God carried him. David was asking God, why he hides himself in times of trouble. Because many times it feels like God is afar off or just absent when we are in trouble and need Him. But rest assured that He is either working on our behalf or literally carrying us through a difficult time. Also, during those difficult times when it seemed that God has left us, it is when the devil ramps up his schemes and lies. The strongest weapon that he can use against us is our minds. He will start to show you times when it seemed as if God has abandoned you, and he will show you how the wicked are prospering in their way. He will try to keep your attention on that and away from God's promises. Not even David was immune to this trickery, as he highlighted how much the wicked was proud and prospering and seemed untouchable, because it seemed like God was not paying attention to their evil deeds. David wrote that the wicked thinks in his heart that God will not see his deed, and so he will not be held accountable. David called on God to arise and to lift up his hands. This is to humble the proud and to exalt the humble. He knew that God was watching all along. He knew that God had not turned a blind eye to the wickedness of the wicked, nor to the commitment and faithfulness of the helpless and needy. He was asking God to repay each man by his deeds. In verse 16, he paused to give honor and glory and praise to God. The Lord is King forever and ever. Then he committed to say what he knew that God will do. Because he knew God, he had fostered and developed a close relationship and bond with God. He knew that God would not leave the destitute to perish, nor the wicked man to prosper. When the devil comes in your ears with lies, do as David did. Speak what you know what God will do. Call the devil a liar.